So another good jobs report has come out. What does that mean for a recession? Well, we saw better than expected non-farms payroll come out last week, where unemployment was better than anticipated. The numbers came out better. A lot of people are working right now. So the economists out there, there's a lot of them that think once we start to see the unemployment numbers creep up, go past 4%, then potentially we're going to be in line for a recession. A lot of people think that we're already there. So I want to get into this video and talk a lot about what's happening with the unemployment and also what does this mean for a recession, if this is even an indicator that we're heading for a recession. Let's get right into the video. All right, folks, let's talk about this very interesting article that came out about non-farms payroll and unemployment with the jobs report coming out good. Will this have a recession, and what is the impact this is going to have if we're going into a recession? Well, let's get into this, right? A lot of data out there that says that we're already heading for a recession. Now, I also look at other data and other information that I see that tells me that we're not quite there yet, even though we've seen declines. You know, retail, tech, those types of jobs have been really slowed down on hiring people to come in and do those lines of work. But, you know, you look at all sectors, everything had openings and increased in June. We had 372,000 jobs created in June. And when you look at what was the only sector that we saw a decline in job and people getting hired for jobs was the government jobs was the only one that was actually declining. So that's all good news. We're at 3.6% for unemployment, and a lot of economists out there think if we head past 4%, we're definitely going for a recession. I look at the 10-year Treasury note, and I felt once we got past 1.94% on the Treasury, this is going to shift, and this market's going to take a different direction, and it has, right? So a lot of people out there think we're heading for a recession. You know, we see a lot of homes coming on the market here in Las Vegas, in the home sector, in the housing industry. And so that's one of the signs that people are really looking at going, uh-oh, this is starting to happen. Now, unemployment's a big deal because unemployment numbers came out and they were better than anticipated. And I feel a lot of people felt it was going to be worse. And so what does that mean? Well, if you look at the average person working and you look at the ages and what, you know, a lot of the data that comes out, the employment and how many people are being hired based upon, you know, their age and what they're employed for and working in today's world, a lot of people that are not highly educated are getting jobs, you know, people that didn't go to graduate from college. When you look at the percentage, if you go and you look at the reports, the labor reports, 80%, right, are people working today. And that's not a crazy low number whatsoever. I mean, you look at when we were at in 2020, we had a very high employment number, and we're very comparable in 2022 to today. And also with the numbers that we see coming out, that's a strong report. So, you know, again, we go back and we say, well, what is the impact this is going to have on the recession, and psychologically, where are we headed? Well, I think we're going to still see people get laid off. You know, in my industry, real estate and lending, we've seen across the board people get laid off. Sprout Mortgage has gone under. You know, I remember back when I was doing lending in real estate, you know, a while back, that when we had the last recession, you know, a lot of these lending institutions went under and they just couldn't perform. And now what's crazy about it is Sprout Mortgage has employees coming out, you know, suing them for wages because they just didn't get paid. So a lot of this information is out there and people are starting to say, oh, it's a recession. Now, I think that we have a lot of data and indication that we are heading or we're potentially in a recession now, yet we still have a lot of people employed. And I feel like that's the last sector. Until we see like those numbers start to come down, we're not officially in a recession. Now, did we see this happening? Of course. You know, when you look at the Fed raising the Fed's fund rate 75 basis points, and then you're going to raise it again, we're trying to tame inflation and get it down to that 2% range. There's going to be some casualties. People are going to get laid off, and you're going to have people not working. So this is good in the sense that it doesn't give us that last or one of the big barometers that says we're definitely in a recession. But I can tell you that when you look at these numbers and you look at where people are at today, again, maybe it's just holding us off before we actually get into a full recession, but the numbers show it. Now, I also feel that consumer confidence is there, and we're still seeing people being able to sustain and pay their bills. Well, a good majority of people. So until we start to see those things happen where people are saving and you start to see inflation really come down, and you also start to see maybe unemployment trickle up a little bit more than where it's at, we're not technically, I don't feel like we're really there in a full recession yet, because people still can sustain living even though we've had some layoffs. I felt like in my industry, real estate, it was a matter of time. It can't always keep going up. What must go up must come down, and we all know that. So this was heading for this outcome, and I felt it. And you see now things like these homes that are out there are getting slashed in prices. New home sectors getting decimated because of the higher interest rates for long-term bonds. So you have a lot of data and information out there showing that we have signs that we're going to a recession, yet we're not fully in that recession mode yet. And until I see the unemployment numbers, that last sector, start to really increase and we go beyond that 4%, like a lot of these economists are saying, then I can't say that we're in a recession yet. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I would love to help you guys out there find your next home. Check out LV Crib Tours. Check out the French Workbench podcast, and we'll see you guys at the next one.